Okay, let's talk balls and strikes. We're joined by former New York Times reporter Alan Salkin and former New York Post reporter Aaron Short. Thank you both for being here. I have to do this, guys. Take my camera. I got this book this afternoon. I started paging through it. I love this book.
I'll hold it up too.
I'm a big fan of the Trump books, but I think this really struck me. We had this whole idea of what we were going to go with the interview, and I said, you know, starting to read it. Let me start with you guys. I'll start with you. Donald Trump isn't a fluke. It wasn't a mistake. He didn't get lucky. Tell me what you mean.
We have 114 on-the-record, non-anonymous sources telling the story of how Trump was intentional over 15 years or more in his desire and strategy about how to become president. He said he would never run unless he thought he could win. And so the press for years said, well, that thing in '99 with Ross Perot's Reform Party and maybe that he was going to challenge Obama in 2012, those were all fakes to promote himself. What our book shows through all of these interviews is that Trump decided at that time he couldn't win. But he decided in 2016 and in 2015 when he comes down the escalator that he had a shot, and he was serious about it, and he had a plan.
And I was fascinated about some of the things he did decades ago to prepare for that day. Tell me about it.
Absolutely. I mean, Donald Trump knew that the population, at least back in 1999, was really interested in an independent candidate. So he went through the motions of hiring key staff, going to different states, giving speeches, meeting like hardcore activists in the Reform Party when he was running then. He continued to do that in 2011, 2012 when he was interested in running against Barack Obama.
Did he want the Reform Party almost as a third party, or was it in preparation of making the Republican run?
He had seen Perot almost win, Perot being ahead in the polls in '92, and there was also a pool of money because of Perot's success that he could tap into that Roger Stone, your previous guest, talked about, $12.4 million. So he thought, and he says in the book, which we quote, that if the economy was in trouble, there would be an opening for an independent. It turned out in that year there wasn't, and he dropped out because he believed he couldn't win. Also, the Reform Party disintegrated.
Let's fast forward to 2015 when Donald Trump and Melania Trump come down the escalators to declare their candidacy. There were a few people in play at that time, behind-the-scenes people. I love this stuff. This is inside baseball. This is political junkyism at its best. I want to talk a couple of names, to throw a couple of names at you guys.
Sure.
First thought, we have a couple of minutes to do this. So first thought, I'll save Roger Stone for later. This is one people don't really know that well. Sam Nunberg.
Yeah, Sam was one of the heroes of the book. He's been very loyal to Donald Trump for 4 years, 2011 through 2015. He was his advance guy. He went with him everywhere. He did everything for Trump, from composing his tweets to helping organize trips to CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference, and it was just bouncing off ideas.
What happened?
Yeah.
Well, Sam will admit sometimes he drinks a little too much, and Trump fired him 6 times and rehired him. He's one of the few people he's rehired.
It's the Billy Martin of
I read in your book,
conservative politics.
what he did was he kept his salary very low so he could continually get rehired.
Sam had good strategy on how to work Trump, and really Sam was a key figure.
Let me get to the next one, Steve Bannon, quickly. Let's go through these a little bit quicker. Steve
One of the
Bannon.
greatest interviews I've ever done, I'll just tell you that. The guy had 3 Red Bulls by 9 a.m. and was hysterically funny. But, people give Bannon credit, along with Bossie, for introducing Trump to
David Bossie.
Bossie
Yeah.
to the alt-right and to that side of things, so that Trump could find a new audience for what he believed.
I'm going to give you Corey Lewandowski. Tell me about that.
Well, Corey's a hard-charging guy. He's from New Hampshire. He's kind of outside of this circle, but he impressed Trump so much that Trump basically hired him on the spot after the interview. And Corey's talent is he's a great advance guy. He helps set up events. It's very important for Trump, for keeping Trump focused, going to places all over New Hampshire.
Good friend of mine, but is known to have sharp elbows.
Well, let's say that Roger Stone refers to Bossie and Lewandowski as Dumb and Dumber. So we've got a lot of back and forth in there.
I did read that. Yeah. Corey's no dummy, though. Corey's a good man.
Well, then,
let me. All right,
there are all these strong personalities. They all fight with each other over Trump's affection.
The next one, Hope Hicks. Who wants it?
Hope came up through working for Ivanka Trump's jewelry line, and she became incredibly trusted. She's not a huge character in our book because she really doesn't come in. We end at the escalator, and who became important in the campaign. It's fascinating because Nunberg drops out, and other people, even Stone, became a little less important during that run-up. So Hicks became somebody who was by his side and who was very important.
Was Roger Stone fired as a ploy, or was he really truly fired?
It almost seems mutual, that it just...
Because I remember firing. Rogers had been by Trump's side, as you pointed out, for the better part of 30 years. All of a sudden he gets fired as Trump is named the nominee. And I'm scratching my head because it seemed like, and then Roger was out there on all the news stations saying what a great guy Trump was, who just fired him.
Well, I think it's the sense of these guys were fighting amongst themselves so that, you know, Corey Lewandowski outmaneuvered
All right.
Roger.
The book is called The Method to the Madness, folks. This is a really great book. I'm going to say thank you to you guys very, very much.
Terrific. Thank you.
And before we go, here's something that